say that I am spiritual, but I am not religious. Or we may come across people who say that for me, work is worship. Or we may come across people who may say that I don't go to temples, I don't worship, but I am honest. I'm a good human being. And very sarcastically, basically, they are referring to so-called devotees, so-called religious people who may be chanting, who may be doing all kind of so-called devotional activities, but may be corrupt, may be indulging in bribery, may be speaking lies. So referring to such devotees, they say that better I may not go to temples, I may not worship, I may not chant the names of Lord, but I am honest, I am truthful, I am ethical, I don't hurt anyone, I try within my means to help others. And they actually believe that that position is superior. So it's very important for us to understand why it is important to be devotee of the Lord. Why just being a good human being is not enough. Why, although superficially it appears that yes, what is the use of so-called devotion? A person is telling lies, he's getting angry. The other person is calm, composed, a good human being. Sometimes we can also get bewildered. So many years he's chanting, but his behavior is like this. But other person, he doesn't chant, he doesn't go to the temple, he doesn't do any so-called, but he's very calm, he doesn't get angry, he's very, very loving, very kind, very gentle. So sometimes we may even doubt, is the process really working? Am I following the right process? So let's first understand why it is important, why a devotee, why even a so-called, just like here it says, the so-called process of atonement, even if they perform them very well, even if a person is assuming not a devotee of the Lord, but he's a very nice human being, even though no matter how good he may be, ornamented with some so-called good qualities in the material, mundane sense, he's honest, he's loving, he's kind, he's gentle, he's soft-spoken, he's well-mannered, he doesn't hurt anyone, he's helpful. Although these qualities are considered very highly in this world, which is no doubt has to be there, these qualities are good, we're not, so to say, denying the fact that these qualities are very much wanted. But the most important thing is a person should recognize the supremacy of Supreme Lord and recognize one's subordination. That I am subordinate, I am Lord's. Too many different things. We're not talking about being a pure devotee where a person realizes that I am Krishna's. Whatever strength I have, whatever ability I have, whatever talent I have, whatever I have, my possessions all belong to Krishna. That's a very elevated stage of consciousness. So being devoted means to understand the supremacy of Supreme Lord in some sense, may not be in a pure form. I belong to the Lord, I have to serve the Lord. So here it says, unless one has a tinge of devotional service, even the so-called atonement done very nicely is of no use. Even the same question Parikshit Maharaj asked, what is the use of Kunjara Sochavat, an elephant taking bath in the river, getting cleansed, and then it comes out and again sprays dust on the body? So Prabhupada explains, when one is on a material platform, e bhalo, e manda, this is good, this is bad, is all mental speculation. There is nothing good in that sense, from absolute perspective in the material world. So-called goodness is also, Prabhupada gives example of dry stool and a wet stool. It appears that dry stool, one side is dry, but both are stool. Why this element of recognition of the supremacy of the Lord and we subordinate to the Lord is important? We see people go for shopping in malls, go to a shop. In malls, we have, unlike traditional shop where you stand across the counter and you tell the shopkeeper, he picks up the items and gives you. In mall, when you enter, you have a trolley, a basket, and then you keep walking in the mall freely and pick up whatever items you want. Traditional shops, you can't pick up items. You are, you can't touch items. You can tell the shopkeeper, he will come and give it to you. But in this case, you freely walk around in a shop, in a mall, and pick up items. And in case your trolley gets filled, another salesperson will say, come up with another trolley. You want something more? So in other words, he wants you to pick up items. And after you have picked up all the items, whatever you want, at the end, it is expected that you recognize that these items belong to that mall. And because you want to take it with you, you have to pay the price. So at the billing counter, they quickly bill whatever items you have taken and you pay the price and you walk out. And with great respect. And actually, these days, they're trained to treat customer like a king, customer loyalty. They're very happy that you picked a lot of items. And they will also say, thank you, sir. And they may even, again, depends. They may even want you to come back again to give them more business. But imagine a person who walks into that mall, he also picks up items, but not a full trolley or a basket, just 2 or 3 items. And he tries to come out of the mall without paying for it. In every mall, there's a terminology they use in accounting. It's called shrinkage. Shrinkage means, just like clothes, when you wash, it shrinks. So in every mall, it's understandable that there will be some shrinkage. Shrinkage is because of people who go and flick some items. When we were in college, so there were some friends from very rich family, and not that they were dearth of scarcity of money, but it was adventure for them to go into a shop and pick up some greeting card, Archie's greeting, and the love becomes even more. If you picked up a greeting card for your lover, and with great adventure, with a lot of risk, it really adds more rasa to the whole Valentine Day or whatever. So a lot of this to do that, flick the items. Now you see, and if a person is caught, there was one Indigo pilot. It was in the news. He was in a very senior position, a pilot, and he, flights layover happens when they go to a particular, they've flown for 16 hours, 20 hours, so they overnight stay there in the destination. So this person, in a duty-free shop in the airport, while coming, he picked up some item and did not pay for it, which later on CCTV cameras captured that. And finally, he was removed from job. He was suspended, and then probably he went to the court or something like that. That suspension was revoked, and finally, net was he lost his job. A pilot, very reputed airline, international flights, and he lost his job. So what's the difference between a person who takes items, these two different individuals? Both of them are picking up items from the shop. A person, trolley load or many baskets of item, he picks up and he walks out. Whereas a person, just one or two items, he's also picked up and he's trying to walk out without paying for it. He's called a thief. You see, many things are common. Both are walking in the mall, both are looking at items, both are wanting some items, both are picking some items, both are coming out of the mall. Many things are common. But what differentiates between a good customer and a thief is a person recognizes that it is his property, mall's property, and since I am taking, I have to pay for it. Whereas a thief wants to enjoy that without recognizing that it is mall's and I have to pay for it. That's the essential difference. So likewise, without a tinge of devotion, devotion means being a devotee. Devotion means to recognize the Lord. If I have some ability, if I have some talent, if I have this body, if I am able to do something, if I am able to see something, if I am able to lift something, that ability is coming from the Lord. Yes, when a person is a pure devotee, he recognizes that I am not doing anything. The Lord is doing everything. I am just an insignificant jiva, puppet in the hands of the Lord. Just like Prabhupada, when he's going to the West, he's writing, I am an insignificant beggar. I have no power to speak. I don't know how to convince them of your message. That is the consciousness of a pure devotee. But a materialist, so-called, who is morally, ethically upright, he believes that his ability is his. If he is very intelligent, he believes that he is intelligent. In fact, if he is too intelligent, he becomes arrogant, he becomes proud. So-called intelligent people at times even become atheists. Because they see that they're able to control things, they're able to comprehend things, they're able to analyze things, they're able to understand things, without recognizing that this intelligence is coming from the Lord. Some people have a lot of abilities, some skills, some talents, and people glorify them for that. And they really believe that, yes, they have done it, they have made it. You see any newspaper when some sports people, they won some trophy or some match or something like that, invariably there's some interview, man of the match, how did you do that? So they will invariably end up glorifying, I thought, no, I should be very patient and I should stick on to it, and they glorify themselves. I thought like this, so I did like this, and that's how it happened. But so many people think, so many people plan, but then things don't unfold necessarily based on your planning, your thinking. So here Prabhupada mentions that unless that tinge of devotion is there, the understanding is there that I am Lord's. Whatever I have, that is the essential difference between a materialist and a devotee. Now devotee, there's a big spectrum, a pure devotee and a mixed devotee and a Kanishtadhikari, and so many other things are there. So here it says, unless one has that tinge of devotional service, recognition of the Lord, all is so-called atonement, so-called karma kanda, so-called jnana kanda, it's all kevala vishara bhanda, it's all pot of poison. E bhalo, e mando, sakalara, this all is mental, at a mental level. This is good, this is bad. It is, from absolute perspective, unless we bring Lord into picture, it is all bad. So our job, if we analyze what we are up to after having joined Prabhupada's mission, our job is, Prabhupada also mentioned that this consciousness, this recognition of the Lord is not an artificial imposition. This Krishna consciousness, recognition that I am Lord's, I belong to the Lord, everything what I have is coming from the Lord. This recognition, this consciousness is already there. It's dormant in all of us. And the reason why today we see a lot of people who are atheists, who don't believe in God, who are very hardcore materialists, because this consciousness is now covered. Prabhupada gives another example that just like sexual desire is dormant in everyone, in every child. You see children, boy, girl, they're playing, they're completely oblivious, they're not very even so-called gender conscious, because that desires have not got yet fructified. That's why that age is called adolescent age, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years. Then it starts dawning on them. Again, some hormonal changes happen in the body at a biological level. So how that these desires are dormant, and then you don't have to necessarily go to college to learn about how to get attracted. It's dormant. Just like at the right age, in the right circumstances, at the right time, they start manifesting. Likewise, this dependence on the Lord, this recognition of the Lord, this recognition that Krishna is the supreme controller, he is the supreme Lord, this recognition also starts manifesting in the consciousness when the circumstances, the situation is right. And that's why it is said, Shrunvata Sukatha Krishna, Punya Shavana Krishna, Kirtana, Hridantasto Yabhadra, all that abhadras, all the dirty things which is actually covering our real knowledge. If we have to uncover, if we have to revive our pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, recognition of the Lord, then the process which Bhagavatam is recommending is Shrunvata Sukatha Krishna. We have to hear about Krishna from a pure devotee of the Lord. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So what we are doing, what Prabhupada has recommended for all of us, the morning sadhana program, we are Krishna conscious, being Amsha of the Lord. That recognition is not artificial. If today somebody is a non-devotee, it's artificial. His consciousness is covered, his real understanding is covered, his real knowledge is covered. So he says, otherwise there is no chance of one becoming purified. If one does not hear about the Lord or one does not come to that understanding, he's just at the level, material level, being a good person, atoning for what mistake he has done. There are a lot of people who are morally very upright. If they do some mistake, they feel guilty, they apologize, they beg forgiveness at a material level. But the real purification does not happen. He still remains a non-devotee. So what we are doing is, when we are hearing about the Lord, when we are doing different devotional activities, devotional service, our real consciousness, real understanding of Krishna is getting, the right environment is getting created for all the dirty things to be removed and pure Krishna consciousness getting awakened. And in Kali Yuga, as we all know, we have heard many, many times Prabhupada emphasizing the process for reviving our dormant Krishna consciousness is to chant the names of the Lord. There was one time a devotee who was assisting Prabhupada. Prabhupada used to travel extensively, so there were devotees who would take turn to, there were some secretaries and also devotees at the temple he would go.